Yo, it's your boy DJ Triggs of No Debate Sports, and we're riding solo. Well, for now, you know. So Metrics is on location somewhere up north, I think. um, and we are rocking and rolling and having a little fun today. It's Tuesday. So we are gonna do some NFL games. We're gonna have some picks going. Um, we're probably gonna make this one a bit quick today, just because Metrics is on his way, or he is up. I'm not even sure, to be honest. He'll probably be popping in here in like 10-15 minutes, letting us know what is going on. What's going on with my hat? That's a It's a solid way to start. um, let's check here. I think I probably should send him a link. Maybe he might need that. Boom. Um, yeah, that's the fun that we have today. Uh, Rocking and rolling on like I said, on a Tuesday. Um, whew, where's the fun in that, right? Um, we've had some fun stuff going on today. Talking about some of the games that happened. Obviously, we had a Monday night football game that happened. Um, who doesn't like a good Monday night football game to wrap up the week last week? Um, we had Dallas, prevailing by 3 over the Chargers. I always want to say San Diego, and then I get caught up, and I'm like, man, get your get your LA going on there. Um, but yeah, you know, Dak Prescott kind of just did Dak Prescott stuff where he was just a average overall quarterback, nothing spectacular, nothing over the top. Uh, you know, just the normal Dak Prescott stuff. Um, and you know, he actually led the team in rushing, which was a little weird, especially because a lot of people in fantasy own Pollard, who only had about 2 yards a carry. So that's a little different, little underperforming too. Not even a little, big time underperforming. CD Lamb did go off. Uh, Basically had like half of Dak Prescott's yards. Um, did his own thing and um, you know made sure that Dallas came home with the W. Um, yeah, I mean, to be honest, very very uneventful. Um, Herbert kind of had an average day. Completed like, I don't know, 55-60% of his passes, somewhere in there. Yeah, look at that. We got someone shouting out your boy DJ Triggs in the building. Uh, we do stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the fun stuff. So we'll shout you out every once in a while. Throw some stuff up there. Um, but yeah, like I said, even Eckler was running about 2 yards a carry. So both teams were kind of shutting down the run. Both teams didn't really throw the ball very well. I mean, it it was just meh. Like, what do we have? Like, I think it was like 10-10 by the end of the third. It's just one of those ugly football games where you're like, oh, well, both teams have solid defenses, and like it just, I don't know. I Like I said yesterday, and I've been saying a lot recently, like was bad football. Just bad football. I mean, if you're a fan of either team, you're obviously like excited doing their thing, but just just not good football, not good quarterback play. Um, which you would think with Herbert out there it was a little bit better, but that Dallas defense is pretty good. Um, big names everywhere, just doing their thing. But what can you expect, right? Sorry, checking out the comments. Like I said, we get the comments on all three platforms all at the same time coming in, so it's kind of fun to check them out. Usually with two of us popping up here, we uh we usually can chat, go with the flow, check out the show while people are chatting us up. Um but yeah, your regular Michael Parsons getting in there, Michael Parsons getting himself a sack or and like you just kind of have your ho hum kind of defense doing their thing. And like I said, Pollard and Eckler didn't really do anything. Dak Prescott and Herbert kind of just average. Um, yeah, I to be honest don't even want to talk about this game anymore. It was just that normal and just just a meh game. Nothing else to say. Just a boring boring football game. I'm gonna make sure that Metrics gets himself into the stream here. He's probably gonna have some difficulty, so let me make sure that I can get that to him. Especially because we have no idea where he is. He could be anywhere. Fun stuff. Um, so whew, let's pull up our games for the week, and maybe I'll start running down some games and breaking down some fun matchups for this upcoming week. Oh, Metroid Metrics is just give. I almost called him Metroid. Wow, what is happening in my brain? We don't have Samus hanging out with us today. Um, Metrics just he's messaging me while we're going through. He's about to start logging in, so we should be good to go. Maybe I'll hang out on one of the games. I mean, so this week on Thursday, we do have a solid matchup. At least it should be solid on paper. Um, that New Orleans Saints defense is going to be at home taking on Jacksonville. Um, Jacksonville's offense, the normal cast of characters doing their thing out there. ETN's been playing really well, but the New Orleans Saints don't give up yards and they don't give up points, I should say. Don't give up rushing yards. Um, they're gonna do their thing, and it's gonna be up to Jacksonville to try and score. Especially being on the road. Jacksonville's a pretty solid, uh, quote unquote, road team. I know they've played in. They're almost like at home and more comfortable when they play in Europe. So who knows how that'll go. But when they have played teams that have been legit, I mean, they're not always winning those games. So we'll see how it goes. New Orleans, like I said, they've been doing their thing. They've only lost to like I guess, really good offenses. So maybe Jacksonville has something going for them. Um, for me, I'm gonna take New Orleans at home, just because that defense at home, loud crowd doing its thing. Um, that should probably be a solid way for that offense to get back on track, and hopefully that defense can hang out and do its thing, and keep that offense keep that offense in at bay, I should say. Let's see. Metrics could be on his way at any moment here. That's always the fun part, is trying to get everybody on track at the same time when people are on the road or on vacation or sick, or you know, it's normal. It's life. That's how we rock and roll around here. He says he's logging in, but I don't see him. What is happening right now? Oh man, hopefully he doesn't have a crazy internet or something going on up there. That would be fun. We'll get his opinion on that Jacksonville New Orleans game. Um, I'm sure he'll have some fun with that one. I'm trying to type with him at the same time. It's one of those fun things going on. Uh, let's go to some of those early games. We have Cleveland at Indianapolis for the noon games on Sunday. Um, I am really, really big on Indy normally every week, but with all the injuries to quarterbacks going on this week, there's Gardner Minshew didn't really put up the numbers that sorry, he says he's fighting his camera right now. So that's interesting. Um maybe his camera just doesn't like him. I don't know. Uh but that Cleveland team has been such a surprise in the NFC North. I know Metrics is really big on that team. He likes what they're doing. They're they're their defense is locked and loaded. The offense, not so much. But you know, can't expect everybody to hit and go to town every week. But who knows, right? Um, but I'm going to take Cleveland in that one. Um, and then next game on the docket. What's on the? Nope, nope. Wait, I think I see him popping in and out. So my attention is like, where, what? I I see a symbol, but I don't know if I see him though. All right. Is he there? Is the question.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he added himself. Oh, he just scared the bananas out of me. I was like,
That's how we do it.
I was like, what is this symbol that I'm seeing on the screen? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we just go. It's like I'm the Raheem Mostert of podcasting. You just give me the ball and we go.
Hey,
Except I don't have my image.
okay. I mean, I don't know what that image is, but it's a little scary. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
think
We
it's
got
Yeah, I think it's OBS or it's a Ninja Star.
let's go. We have ninja stars in this house, so
There we go.
if there is a ninja star, then It's a little scary.
That's how we do it. Although my internet connection is much better this go around than a month or so ago when I was in the Northwoods, so I don't have to worry about that this time.
Okay, that's solid. Hey, so I've only gone through 2 games.
Okay.
Jacksonville at New Orleans on Thursday. Who you
Okay.
got?
That one, I am going to take Jacksonville. And I was very underwhelmed by New Orleans against Houston. And I picked New Orleans last week because I thought they had more of a diverse offense and still can play good defense. Well, I think we're learning that Houston probably is just overall a better defense than New Orleans. With that said, looking at Jacksonville, using that same kind of mentality, I think Jacksonville is a more diverse team in general. It has way more ways they can attack offensively. And then at the end of the day, I think their defense can go toe to toe with New Orleans. And if Derek Carr still ain't right, then even though it's a banged up Trevor Lawrence, I'll take a banged up Trevor Lawrence against a somewhat banged up Derek Carr any day of the week.
Nice, nice. I actually went with New Orleans in that game. I'm just taking the home team on a Thursday and
Sure,
hoping for the best. Their defense has been pretty solid most
sure.
games. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's fair. And the
one of
way
those.
Alvin Kamara ran, even though they didn't get the W, like Alvin Kamara did look really good against Houston. I'm not sure exactly what the stat line is, but just seeing that guy run with power and have that shiftiness that I've always grown to love to see in the game of Alvin Kamara, that's what I want to see. So hopefully we get to see that Thursday night.
Awesome.
Uh huh.
And then the other game that I went through was Cleveland at Indy. Who you got there?
Cleveland at Indianapolis. So, yeah, with this, with the unfortunate news of Anthony Richardson probably being done for the year, it really sucks because, boy, that guy's got a ton of potential. I mean, I think he's got to take this violence of the Cam Newton slash Josh Allen aspect of his game. He's got to refine that and change it. But with that being said, he's out. Gardner Minshew is in, and that is a turnover machine, especially against that scary defense of Cleveland. Which, by the way, we called that day one here at No Debate Sports. We definitely uh, called our shot and targeted the Cleveland Browns for being one of the best defenses in the NFL, and that will show this weekend. So I'll take Cleveland in that game, regardless of who's playing quarterback for them.
Yeah, I was with Cleveland too, just because Gardner Minshew didn't look as solid as he usually is, and
I know,
that
I know.
there's no weapons there.
Yeah, the yardage he puts up is nice, but man, he makes some real boneheaded decisions lately. I don't know who his coordinator was when he was really getting things going when he was down in Jacksonville, but when he was in Jacksonville, I felt like things were working really, really well. And then when he kind of got demoted for Trevor Lawrence, that's when I really started to feel like his game was starting to go in the wrong direction, unfortunately. But we'll see what we got there. And I don't know. I'm hoping with Cleveland we see a little more of Elijah Moore in that game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, let's go with your game.
Okay.
Las Vegas at Chicago.
So this is a game for anyone who wants to find themselves at Soldier Field. Your boy here, Steve Metrics, will be live at that game at
Oh,
Soldier Field in person,
wow.
getting a straight up in person. Got fourth row seats up from the field. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game. I've never been to a game outside of Lambeau Field before, so getting to my second NFL stadium, I'm pretty excited for. And I am bummed out though that I don't get to see Justin Fields. And I know his play can be somewhat spotty, but man, I think Justin Fields is super talented. I think they really need to figure out a really good offensive coordinator for that guy. I think the former Packer coordinator he has right now just ain't getting it done. Sucks that he hurt his thumb and he's going to be out a while. But with that being the case, then I think Vegas is going to show up and going to show up in force. And I think that defense is totally going to travel. And between our secondary and the pass rush that Max Crosby brings, we get it done.
Wow. So you're picking Vegas. I
Absolutely.
I
I
I
know
did
that's a
not
shocker.
did not see that coming.
Oh, no, no, no. No, no chance. No chance.
Uh, I am actually going to go with Chicago.
Oh, no.
I think this team is gonna actually be better without Justin Fields making, bad reads and bad decisions.
I man, I feel like his game this past week was somewhat a coaching decision, and then the fact that the guy got hurt, and I think that's a real bummer, and that really changes things. And I mean, losing a number two wide receiver and then losing almost the entire run game, boy, things are really going backwards for that offense.
Yeah, that and Rashawn Johnson's gonna be back this week, so I'm
Oh, okay,
kind of banking on that a little bit too.
okay,
Um, so I'm kind of I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Chicago without Justin Fields, and then they're gonna have to make that big time decision of, oh, do we go with Fields going forward or what happens?
yeah. I mean, I stick by my guns. I when we were talking about quarterbacks yesterday and the ones that to me I think are super talented and can really strike the fear and imposing defense at will. Granted, no one really is elite, but when it comes to those kind of guys, I do put Justin Fields in that category. Even though it's not crazy consistent, I think that guy needs like a quarterback whisperer, like a Shane Steichen kind of guy. The other thing is for us, we have no Jimmy Garoppolo for this game. I know not having your starting quarterback is usually not good for a team, but for us, Jimmy Garoppolo stinks. He is the worst quarterback in my eyes in the NFL. That is a starting quarterback, and having him out, having Brian Hoyer in, that's the direction we need to go.
Speaking of Brian Hoyer, let's go to Buffalo at New England.
Yeah, Buffalo at New England. Part of me really, really hopes that our shared wish between the two of us that Malik Cunningham gets to become the starting quarterback and shock the world. That's what I really want to see. Um, but
Yeah,
man, if it's back,
I'm with you.
yeah, if it's back Jones, man, like I think this is where it lies. Like how I thought last week with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, and I like that Tyrod Taylor gave him actually a puncher's chance in that game, but it's probably gave you the very conservative New England play calling that we've all grown to love and hate. And yeah, I think Mac Jones is in, and I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
Yep, same.
That's simple.
And I mean, it doesn't even matter who's at quarterback for New England; they're horrible.
Well, man, I do feel if it's Malik Cunningham, this totally changes things. Tyquan Thornton just came back last week, and he's a scary guy, man. Tyquan Thornton is a future Tyreek Hill. Between him, you got what's his name out of Eastern Washington? I forgot that guy's name. A big tall guy. It's not like Jacoby Myers, but it's a guy that resembles Jacoby Myers. You got that. You got Devontae Parker. I do like that. So we'll see what happens. But man, they have to go to Malik Cunningham. You have to see what you have. And if it fails, then you're probably still going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you'll have a puncher's chance at getting maybe what's his name, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think they're a good football team. Like they haven't really impressed me at all this season. And Buffalo is not. They're not elite, but they're a
They're no
good
slouch.
football team.
They
Yeah,
are,
they're good.
yeah. Their secondary is really nice. That is a very tough team to throw the ball against. And look at Miami. Look at the trouble they had. So if you already have questions at quarterback, you're going to fail. So what they did to Miami, what they did to us with Raiders, basically shutting down our passing game immediately. That's what Buffalo can do. If they can shut down your pass game, that should be good enough to get the W with Josh Allen throwing to anybody.
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking is like even if if the New England Patriots play whoever at quarterback. I mean, they're probably just going to stack the box and stop the pass over the top, and
Yep.
there's probably nothing they can do.
Yeah, and when you look at those teams, especially in that division, there's almost no travel. There's like no travel between any of those four teams except for Miami. So unless you're traveling to Miami, you have a very short trip geographically. So it does make things much easier for those other three teams.
Right.
Cool.
Let's go to bad football.
Yeah.
Washington at the Giants.
Washington at the Giants. So I like this being after the way they lost against Buffalo. I like this being a bounce back game for New York. Now you go up against Washington. We know everyone can throw against Washington. We know Washington has a horrendous pass protection. All of those elements giving hopefully another week of Tyrod Taylor. If they switch to Daniel Jones, man, I am definitely going to eat this pick. But if they stick with Tyrod Taylor against a softer defense that's not the Buffalo Bills, I love the New York Giants playing spoiler against Washington.
I'm with you. I like the Giants either way. Washington, they have basically zero quarterback play. Their running backs have been eaten up the last week or two. Yeah, I'll probably pick anybody against Washington.
Yeah, a little inside scoop here, and I will definitely share this with our viewers over on Twitter. I've done a little bit of research trying to figure out what teams are good at, or which teams are actually lousy against the slot receiver position. And I actually found a site. And this is something I do. I'm definitely going to have to put in the work to make it so this is available for us here at No Debate Sports. But what I did find online is that the New York Giants are one of the worst defensive teams against the slot position. Ironically, when it comes to my fantasy football team, I actually have the entire slot of the Washington football team in Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel, and I am more than likely starting both of them. I want to say New York ranks in the bottom 5 against slot wide receivers this season in terms of fantasy football points. So if you want a little
Nice.
inside scoop there, I think Curtis Samuel definitely has a good weekend this week.
That's fine. They can both have good weekends. Everyone
Yeah.
else is horrible.
Oh, exactly. Totally. Totally.
This one I think is going to be surprisingly a good game.
Okay.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this is a interesting one. This is Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I know there's the interceptions, but I do like the way that Atlanta is starting to play lately, starting to play more aggressive in the air. And if there's interceptions, so be it. That's part of the growing pains that Desmond Ritter's going through. And I feel like if he can clean that up, this is a team that's going to somewhat resemble Detroit last week. They are somewhat similar in how they're built. Dynamic run games, big targets to throw the ball to, and somewhat stingy secondaries. Atlanta checks off all of those boxes, so I like Atlanta in this one.
See, I'm the opposite. This is
There you
going to be
go.
fun. I
There you go.
actually think Tampa Bay is going to set themselves up to keep running away with that division. Uh, Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
not really. No one's really talking about them leading the South, and they were kind of a surprise team because New Orleans was like the sexy pick.
Right.
Atlanta was a sexy pick,
Oh
but
yeah.
Tampa Bay is just like, oh yeah, we have Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and even though I'm still single and ready to mingle, I am sticking with my sexy pick of Atlanta from day one. But
nice.
I am with you with Tampa. I do feel like this division will be between Atlanta and Tampa, and that New Orleans is really becoming a letdown of a team. I think this is still ultimately falls on the shoulders of Derek Carr, but I am with you that I think this comes down to either Tampa Bay or Atlanta. With Tampa Bay, I think the Mike Evans factor of him being healthy is critical. But boy, it was pretty interesting seeing Detroit really take care of business against Tampa last week.
Yeah. And I mean, Detroit is I think we're gonna have to we'll get to them next, but
We will. We will.
Detroit's one of those teams where they're almost sneaking into elite right now.
Oh yeah.
But the
Yeah.
thing about Tampa though, Tampa is a top five or like top five, top 10-ish um, team at stopping the run.
Okay.
They are one of the few like teams that are giving up less than 100 yards on the ground per game.
Sure.
So if they can bottle up Bijan, they have a good chance against Atlanta.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is totally true. I feel like if Tampa's going to do this, they're going to have to. Uh, Atlanta's going to have to do this against Tampa with the three-headed attack of Tyler Algier, Bijan, and hopefully at this point, I think they would have a healthy Cordero Patterson. So doing stuff like that, I do like seeing Kyle Pitts being thrown back into the mix against in what he did last weekend. So I think they're gaining more of that, more of the passing game, just more confidence out of Desmond Ritter, who has now had back-to-back 300 plus yard games. So I like that. That's the kind of growth they're going to need. And the one thing I noticed in Baker Mayfield's game against Detroit, there was just like no deep passes downfield. It's still that intermediate Baker Mayfield stuff. Their starting running back is probably going to be out this game. So yeah, that's why I think this game is critical. If Atlanta wants to win this division, they cannot do it without winning these games against Tampa Bay and New Orleans.
All right. Speaking of the Detroit Lions, let's go Detroit at Baltimore. Um, I am I am really really against Detroit.
Okay.
But so I'm taking Baltimore.
Okay.
Detroit's got such a good run defense, but I think with Baltimore and the way they're set up, I think they might get on track passing the ball this week because you
Yes.
can throw the ball against Detroit. Uh, that's kind
Sure.
of one of their things. And Baltimore is kind of a middle of the pack throwing team, but I think their way of throwing the football with the way their run sets up the pass, I think that's actually going to go in their favor with Lamar moving around a bit.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm looking here when it comes to the slot game of Baltimore. And what I'm looking at here is football.rasball.com. And that you should be able to navigate your way to this slot part of their site. When it comes to Detroit, they're about middle of the pack against slot receivers. And I think that's absolutely, or wait a minute, maybe that's not sorted correctly. Okay, my bad. Detroit actually ranks third worst against slot receivers. So for Zay Flowers owners, and I actually am one of them, this should be a big Zay Flowers day. And I think when it comes to the outside of the Baltimore passing game, and if I update this list here and see what we've got, now you can see that Detroit becomes rather stingy. They ranked the 22nd um, highest, which is the right side of what you want to be defensively against the outside receivers. So if this is going to get done, it's going to get done inside with Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, and there has to be a ton of attention on Odell Beckham. If he's healthy, that's how it's going to have to dictate to go through this game. That said, I like Detroit. I think this team just keeps stepping up every week, and this is definitely going to be a tough one for them. Baltimore is an excellent defense, and I think it's a testament to how their record is and winning these kind of stingy, kind of black and blue football games. But I don't know. There's parts of that Baltimore.
Yeah, I feel you. Um, Next is Pittsburgh at the Rams.
Pittsburgh at
Um,
the Rams.
I can't pick Pittsburgh like
Yep.
probably for the rest of the season. Um,
Yep.
and the big thing is, especially going here, um, Pittsburgh is not, they're not very good
Yeah.
defensively compared to what we thought they would be.
Okay.
Um, and now
And
that I'm thinking, like, the Rams passing offense is so good. They're a top 5 passing offense in the league. Plus, they've
yeah.
got Cooper Cup like back and like in the mix. Um, like I think they could run the score up on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and already here looking at points outside for wide receivers. Looking at this, Pittsburgh actually ranks okay. Yeah, they
Oh, I think your mic went out there.
Uh-oh. You hear me now? Am I still
Yep,
there? Okay,
yep.
cool. My bad. But yeah, actually, Pittsburgh ranks sixth worst in the NFL against outside wideouts, and we know LA loves to throw the ball. So I'm totally with you on this. We'll see what happens with the run game of the Rams, but they should be fine. Yeah, I definitely like LA in this matchup, and with that Pittsburgh defense, if they can't keep the offense on the field, that defense will get gassed, like we always say. So yeah, totally going with the Rams with you on this one.
Yeah, that one's pretty simple.
Yep, totally.
Speaking of another simple one, Arizona at Seattle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said simple, but that to me that kind of throws me for a weird loop, considering how we keep seeing Seattle lose these games. But I did do a little digging in this too when it came to the wide receiver positions, and Arizona does give up, and we've seen this since the beginning of the season. They do give up a good amount of points to guys inside. So I think this might be a sneaky Jackson Smith and Jigba game. I'm going to go Seattle. I think they need a bounce back in this one.
I'm going to go Seattle because Arizona is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They rank 5th in most yards given up. So,
Really? Wow.
yeah, they
Wow, I didn't
are
think they
down
were
there
that.
with Denver, Washington, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers. So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't like any of those teams.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, that's interesting. And when I pulled this up too, both against the slot receivers and the outside wideouts, they are dreadful against both of them. So pretty interesting that you bring that up.
um, yeah, we can move on to the next game.
Yeah,
So,
buddy.
speaking of worst defenses in the NFL, the worst defense in the NFL is the Denver Broncos.
Oh yeah.
Green Bay is at Denver. Um, Shocker, I'm picking Green Bay, but literally, Denver team in the NFL right now giving up more than 400 yards of offense per game.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And yet only Pat Mahomes and go figure on that one.
Yeah.
But I do yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a definite bounce back game for Green Bay. Yeah, especially with that dreadful of a defense. I like Jordan Love getting things right on this one. This could be a sneaky big Green Bay Packer receiving game, I think.
Same. I agree with you there. And then let's see. We have the Chargers at Kansas City. Who you got?
Yeah, after seeing a complete letdown last night against the Cowboys, yeah, I gotta go Kansas City. I think that defense and what they can do controlling the clock with Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, I'll take Kansas City, especially at home.
So this one was tough for me.
Okay.
Like I was like, all right, do the Chargers play that bad 2 weeks in a row?
Right?
Maybe. Do do the Chiefs play the way they're playing, but keep winning? And I'm like, it's weird because we're thinking the Chiefs are having a down year, and they literally don't lose. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think that there's
Oh, you there, Metrics?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. My
Oh,
bad. Sorry. I'm running away from the microphone on this computer that I don't know exactly where it's at. But yeah. So the thing is too, like, do the LA Chargers almost lose 3 games in the first 3 weeks of the season, scoring over 100 points? And yes, they did. They lost 2 out of the 3, and they could have lost 3 out of the 3. So Chargers are a very weird football team. I think they are terribly head coached, and they are dreadful. And the injury to Herbert is definitely showing itself. It is definitely impacting his throwing motion, and yeah, it's a bummer. So I mean, I do love seeing what Keenan Allen's doing, but yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to do some exotic blitzes against him, and I think they're going to win the turnover battle and win the game.
so the Chiefs are, and this is the big reason I'm going with the Chiefs. They
Yeah.
are number 6 in total yards given up,
Oh
and the
wow.
Chargers are the second worst.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes kind of gets on track and gets some of those young receivers to go and get some
Yeah.
confidence, and they're winning games. So can't go against a team winning games.
Yeah, and this is I think last time I looked, this should be game number 2 of a 5-game stretch where the Chiefs go up against absolutely dreadful secondaries.
Jeez,
Oh
that's
yeah, it's a gravy schedule. So if you can get Chiefs or got Chiefs, uh,
so. Let's go to an actual good football game, which is
oh hey now,
probably the game of the week.
okay.
Miami at Philly.
Oh boy, yeah, this is not. There's only I think a very short list of teams that can actually go toe to toe with Miami, and unfortunately, I do not think Philadelphia is one of them. The secondary is rough. Um, Boy, this concerns me because up until now that you brought this up, I did not realize that the Philadelphia Eagles are playing the Miami Dolphins, and that is my fantasy defense. So yeah, I'm very concerned in this game, and I think Miami can totally rack up the score in this one.
Oh boy. Well, we are going to differ on this one, buddy.
Okay,
So
okay,
Miami is amazing at the short passes, getting their guys out in open space,
sure,
and they do that by setting up the run.
yes. You can't
Philadelphia's
run
only given
again.
Philadelphia's only given up 65 rushing yards per game, which
Wow,
is second only behind Detroit by 1
Cleveland's
yard.
wow. Cleveland's
So
got to be up there too,
who?
right? Cleveland,
Yep, Cleveland's fourth.
gotcha. And San
Uh
Francisco is probably 3.
Jacksonville, oddly. San
Ooh,
Francisco is 6.
interesting. That's cool.
So I am gonna have to go with Philly just because I think they'll be able to bottle up that run game and make Tua turn into a passer.
Okay. Okay. I just don't think Philadelphia has seen anything like this before. I know they have San Francisco coming up on their schedule too. Yeah, I think this is a whole new ball of wax. I mean, I really only think the teams that can really deal with Miami moving forward are Buffalo, Kansas City, and in a weird way, I don't even think they'll cross paths this year unless this is a possible Super Bowl preview. I do think if there were some way they were to play against Detroit, I think your vision on how you can bottle up the run but also play good against the secondary, I think Detroit could check off both those boxes as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So there
Monday
we go.
game,
Okay.
San Francisco, Minnesota.
Oh, Um, yeah, so I'm actually residing at this moment in the state of Minnesota, and the very unfortunate side up here, and probably the main reason I'm picking against the Vikings is I cannot place any legal sports bet within this state. So for that reason alone, I'm taking the 49ers.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh no!
That's awesome. San
Yep.
Francisco all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And whether they have Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey or not, they should absolutely be ready to take care of business in this one. Minnesota is a dreadful secondary, so I think they can do this, and they can definitely get their moving right with Brock Purdy.
Right. And Minnesota doesn't have Jefferson, so like
Oh yes.
you're telling a great defense that the other team is one dimensional.
Plus the defense that already has to go one-on-one against George Kittle every single day in practice, they'll be able to take care of TJ Hawkinson on Sunday or Monday.
Exactly.
Yep. There you go. That's no debate.
Right. So we weren't sure if you were going to be on the show today, so I didn't prepare any five up for no debate.
Okay. Okay. That's
Do
fair.
you have any bona fide players?
I do. Let me take a look here at some of these matchups again. But to me, already looking at what's going on with Miami and Philadelphia, considering that teams can definitely throw against Philadelphia, whether it's Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. Maybe this is more of a Jalen Waddle game because maybe that secondary starts to put a little more focus on Tyreek Hill, but yet still bottles up the run. That could really open up things for Jalen Waddle in this game. So I like him for that kind of matchup. Let me see if I can get you another sneaky bona fide player. I think kind of like what we pointed out earlier too. Zay Flowers against Detroit. Considering how Detroit is going to be a little bit more stingy outside, and in order for this Ravens offense to really churn, and if it's tough already running against Detroit, then truly the whole of opportunity against Detroit has to be the slot position. So I think Zay Flowers and probably Mark Andrews are totally guys that you want to roll with here in Week 7. So those are my bona fide players for the week. And looking at some of these other guys, I mean, with the Giants against Washington, I think you got some opportunity there with their receiving core. Which one it is, that's a big question mark. That's a really tough one to gauge. And then some of these other games, you got some injuries, you got some interesting matchups. Indianapolis in general, I would avoid every single one of their players against Cleveland. So don't really play around with those. I know Jonathan Taylor owners are itching to get him back and get him really performing well, but now is not the time to go with that. So maybe Triggs, maybe you got some Green Bay Packers that can do well this week against Denver. But other than that, I would really stick to the guys that you know that kind of have some opportunity, whether it's Jalen Waddle, maybe Tyreek Hill, or in your Detroit Baltimore game. I do think a guy like Zay Flowers is definitely going to get some real good opportunities there. Or even like you pointed out too, the Steelers Rams game. Any single wide receiver in that game, especially the outside wide receivers that you're looking at there. So maybe more Puka Nakua. I mean, him and Cooper Kupp, they're going to split between the slot and lining up outside. So I do really like the Rams receiving core this week. So those are probably your big bona fide players that can really ball out this week in Week 7. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
As we say
whoa.
about everybody in fantasy football that we think are Bono.
Let him cook! Let him cook! I said let him cook!
How about this, Triggs? I got one more guy here that is a little bit interesting. Something I just noticed by checking the scoreboard. Big signing. Hopefully everything there is healthy. But how about this to your pick on the Philadelphia Eagles? Julio Jones just signed with Philadelphia. If he can play, like, whoa. This is that wish that I had that DeAndre Hopkins would go to Philadelphia, but Julio Jones brings some big time size, totally complements AJ Brown, And then with that being the case, then maybe you got more Devontae Smith working the slot alongside Dallas Goddard. But man, if he can play, man, like I would love to see that happen.
Well, that's incredible.
That's 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 some bona fide news right there. I'll tell you that.
Right. I mean, even if he's the third or fourth receiver, that's insane.
I mean, I gotta start him ahead of Olamide Zacchaeus. I think Zacchaeus is more of a Deshaun Jackson. In all honesty, he's not a slot receiver. I think Olamide Zacchaeus is a Deshaun Jackson. Just run 70 yards downfield and see if you can get him the ball kind of guy. So I think AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Julio Jones are true big route runner threats that can really make some plays. So I hope that's how their receiving core goes this weekend with Philadelphia.
Wow, that is something else.
And Miami's secondary is dreadful. So what better way to take them apart with those three receivers if they pull the upset like you think is going to happen, Triggs?
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely feeling that way.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Well, what else you got for us today, Metrics?
Oh, what else do we got for you? So we're trying to go a little bit quicker today between my internet hookups and whatnot. Let me see if I can get us into some certain free agent pickups for the week. So let's see what we got cruising around here. But already, like one that to me really sticks out well with the Detroit Lions. And granted, it is a somewhat tougher week against Baltimore, but we did see David Montgomery go down. And yes, everyone out there, there's a Jahmyr Gibbs owner out there who's like, yeah, now's my time to shine. But truly, Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are truly different styles of runners that are polar opposites to each other in all honesty. So the one that I like already to begin with is running back Khalif Raymond. He may not be. Let me actually, my bad. Craig Reynolds. Mixing him up with the receiver out of Detroit. But Craig Reynolds is a guy that's out there that pretty much is totally available. He's only been picked in about 3% of all ESPN leagues. Or actually, hold up, my bad. He is available in 93% of all ESPN leagues. Really good pickup here. Someone's got to take those touches that David Montgomery is giving up. So I think he's totally a guy that you can go with and make something out of. And then looking at Minnesota, granted, this is up against San Francisco, and yes, this is a bad matchup from pretty much everyone's perspective. But San Francisco can be thrown on, and with there not being Justin Jefferson, that third receiver has to come into the mix. So I do think a Brandon Powell at some point is going to step up. If that San Francisco secondary is putting more focus on Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne and TJ Hawkinson, then Brandon Powell is going to get the weakest defender in that secondary. So I think now would be a really great week that if you need a receiver, you go with Brandon Powell. With that, some of these guys that are going to be chucking the rock to these targets, I stick with what Triggs and I have been talking about with our guy Tyrod Taylor against Washington, which is an absolutely dreadful defense out there that you can go with. And then Cleveland has a very nice matchup against an offense we know in Indy that's going to be pretty much non-existent in PJ Walker. So he's a guy out there that is virtually available in 100% of all ESPN leagues, and very sneakily kind of working his way up this plus minus of guys that you can get. Our favorite quarterback coming into the future, and hopefully he gets a start this week against Buffalo, Malik Cunningham. No clue what exactly is going on here with him and Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is a very bad NFL quarterback. So I would love to see Malik Cunningham finally get his start. So yeah, how about that? Those are some of the bona fide players that you can pick up this week across most leagues.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I feel you. I'm down with Malik Cunningham.
I know. I so like honestly, man, that preseason game against Houston, of all the preseason games that I saw, that is the one that I loved the most between him and Tank Dell. That game was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Good stuff.
So, how about you let us know what kind of belt you're wearing?
So I'd love to show you guys, but we are having some technical difficulties here. And, yeah, shout out to James. Don't know exactly what your score was, but good job getting the win there. So there you go. But for my belt, I actually am wearing the Muppets because my Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. We keep churning out some of these tough victories. So
Nice.
I'm going with my Muppets.
Game of the day.
Game of the day, man. Game of the day.
Well, let's flip the old camera here. Boom. Oh, I flipped it the wrong way. Shame on me.
It looks like a Dan Marino, but wearing a New York Giants helmet and stuff.
Look at that. There's a $7 sticker on it from like
$7
100 years ago. Yeah.
Holy smokes. Tecmo Bowl.
At a Super Bowl. The upgrade of Tecmo Bowl.
Wow. So it was Tecmo Bowl first and then Super Bowl?
Yep.
Tecmo Super
correct.
Bowl?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good times.
Good times, man. Good times. So there you go, guys. That is our show for the week. We got more stuff coming. I got some game recaps I'm going to be throwing down tomorrow and Thursday. And then we'll have a Friday one for Thursday Night Football. So there you go, guys. Next week, we'll both be back in person. And boom, again, you can catch us 7 o'clock Central, Mondays and Tuesdays here on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else you can find our podcast. So that's everything. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here, Triggs. You good on everything too?
I am totally good.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, everyone, for watching. And for me, Steve Metrics, and your boy, DJ Triggs, we're No Debate Sports. Yeah, buddy, DJ Triggs. We'll see you next week. And that's No